Today, European Council President Charles Michel called on Armenia and Azerbaijan to refrain from maximalist positions and aim for dialogue, as the two countries' leaders prepare to meet for a fresh round of talks in Moldova. Dialogue between Baku and Armenians living in the former Nagorno-Karabakh Autonomous Oblast on their rights and security is now crucial, Michel added. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan set off a political firestorm last week when he told reporters he is prepared to recognize Azerbaijan's claims to Nagorno-Karabakh, provided that guarantees are made for the rights and security of the region's Armenians. Pashinyan and Azerbaijani President Ilham Aliyev are set to meet in Moldova Thursday for talks with the leaders of the EU, France, and Germany. It will mark the first time the heads of Europe's two most influential countries will join the negotiations together. The planned meeting comes amid a substantial uptick in regional diplomacy, even as high-level peace talks earlier this month in Washington, Brussels, and Moscow all ended without any discernible progress. Pashinyan has already ruled out signing a peace deal with Aliyev in Moldova. And in more diplomatic news, Armenian Deputy Prime Minister Mahir Grigoryan said today he expects it to take 2 to 3 years to restore Armenia's rail connection with Azerbaijan, ahead of infrastructure talks with his counterparts from Baku and Moscow. Grigoryan told reporters today that Yerevan stands ready to restore transport links with Baku, provided that Armenia retains control of any new infrastructure projects built in its territory. The corridor issue will not be discussed, that is a red line for us, Grigoryan added, referring to Baku's call for an overland route to connect mainland Azerbaijan with its isolated exclave of Nakhichevan. Yerevan says any such transport link should not constitute a corridor, which could imply some degree of foreign control. Grigoryan is set to meet with his Azerbaijani and Russian counterparts later this week for infrastructure talks, but the date of those negotiations has still not been made public. The Kremlin was expecting the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan to sign an agreement on restoring transport links at a summit last week, according to the Russian newspaper Kommersant, but those talks ended without any apparent progress. Yerevan and Baku first committed to unblocking regional transport links in the ceasefire that ended the 2020 Nagorno-Karabakh war. Since then, however, little progress has been made to that effect. And in business news, Armenian Economy Minister Vahan Kerobyan said today that his ministry plans to appoint trade representatives to China, Germany, and the United States. Kerobyan told lawmakers the envoys will work to diversify Armenia's trade relations. Armenia already has trade representatives to Iran and the World Trade Organization, which is headquartered in Switzerland. Armenia notably does not have a commercial representative to Russia, far and away the country's largest trading partner. Kerobyan has argued that Yerevan's economic ties with Moscow are already so strong that a special envoy is not needed. In a related development, Kerobyan also announced today that foreign direct investment in Armenia topped $1 billion for the first time last year. That is just over 5% of Armenia's gross domestic product. The Armenian government's target FDI to GDP ratio is 6%. And finally, CivilNet hosted 2 guests last week to discuss the state of journalism in Armenia. Guides Minassian from the French newspaper Le Monde stopped by to talk about how to cover the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, while Thomas Kent, the former head of Radio Free Europe Radio Liberty, dropped by to unpack the challenges facing news organizations in Armenia. You can find both conversations now on our website and YouTube channel. And as always, please follow CivilNet for the latest news and independent journalism from our reporters on the ground in Armenia, Nagorno-Karabakh, and the region.